We all have a unique view of the world we are in, how you overcome your challenges or attain your goals. Every experience in life has the potential to inspire, influence, and impact those around us. Welcome to the 3i Stories podcast by Better Version of You.
Hello, friends, and welcome once again to the 3i Stories podcast by Better Version of You. My name is Pritesh Chandra, and once again, I'm super excited to bring you another amazing conversation from another amazing individual. So let's get started. Let's welcome our guest for this episode, Mr. Moses Money. Moses, how are you doing?
Listen, Bolavinaka, Pritesh, and thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be in the podcast today.
I am equally excited to hear your story about your incredible journey and who you are today. To get us started, Moses, can you tell us a little bit about life growing up?
I'll be honest with you, Pritesh. You're the first one who actually asks about my life. Apart from my late wife. You're the next one who has just asked about my past life, and I'm really excited to share my journey with you here today. My parents left me when I was just 6 months old. Well, they left me because I wasn't on their plan, so I was left in the care of my grandparents at just 6 months old, and I'm forever grateful for my Aja and Aji for bringing me up. And I would also like to thank my parents, because if they didn't left me in care of my grandparents, I wouldn't be here what I'm here today at the moment. So yeah, I'm forever grateful for my grandparents who has actually passed away now, and also my kaka and kaki who has looked after me from really small. And yeah, I grew up in a notorious area called Nandera. Nandera is pretty much same as, I would say, Otara. Back then, there wasn't any technology, and we used to just go out and play. That's it, without any technology. So I grew up in that area. I went to a school called Risk School Nandera, and later on I went to Risk School College. Did my diploma in management in Fiji. Played soccer all my life. Yeah, through soccer I scored some good jobs, and I worked in some of the big companies. I actually started as a packer in RV Patel. So that was my first job. And I used to get about $30 or $40 a week just working after school. And from there onwards, I went and joined a garment factory company as a shipping agent. And I was getting about $60 or $70 a week. And back then, $60, $70 was a huge money. After leaving the garment factory, I joined as a merchandiser in Tapus. And that's when I first got my wages of more than $100 on my first wage. And we used to get cash on those days. We didn't have any bank transfer whatsoever. When I got my wages, I went to my boss straight away and told him, I think you guys made a mistake, because I wasn't expecting this much. I was expecting less. And he called me, "Nah, that's your wages." And I was just, getting first time ever getting over $100 in my hand. Was just so exciting. So yeah, that's where my humble beginning is. The place I grew up is called Rambasettle. And if I'm gonna tell you a story about my place in Nandera, I can probably write a book. There's heaps of stories. I have seen it. You name it, I've seen it. I have seen it all. Yeah, in my area of Nandera. Very notorious area. You can get robbed easily. Well, hopefully not now, but I'm talking about 20 years back. I've seen people getting robbed. I've seen people getting stabbed. I've seen people getting killed. So yeah, you name it, I've seen it.
Wow, Moses. Hey, Moses, thank you so much for sharing something deep, something incredibly moving. Nandera in Suva, right? Yeah,
No,
Suva.
actually, Nandera is in Nesinu.
Nandera is in Nasinu. Okay, so that shows how well I know about Suva and Nasinu. But thanks for sharing that. I was humble beginnings, difficult times, rough neighborhood, but out of that that roughness came out a diamond in who you are today. And I call you a diamond because I respect you and I know the work you do, which is incredible. Now, Moses, so you mentioned growing up in Nandera, then starting a job as a shelf packer in RB Patel. Then from there, you moved into the garment industry. Then to, did you say Tapus?
Tapus, and then
Yes.
I joined AquaSafe, and
EquiSafe.
then from there, um, I got a job at one of the government department.
Nice. So you already had done quite a bit of work in Fiji, and what you're highlighting to me is social aspect of life through soccer, and soccer is big in Fiji, that you're able to establish contacts, get jobs, good jobs. Now, from Fiji, how did you end up in New Zealand?
Okay, so yeah, we actually in Fiji, both me and my late wife had very good jobs, and I was also doing a side hustle of bringing stuffs from AliExpress or Alibaba and selling it. Life was really good over there. We were earning less. We were, living decent life. I would say that, like, in my youth days or even in my young days, we always had roof under our head. We always had food to feed
Mm,
on, and yeah, we can say that we came from a very decent family. We wasn't that poor. We wasn't that rich either. But
mm,
yeah, you know, uh, we decided to migrate for the better future of our kids. Since my wife was getting better pay than me, she was in ANZ and I was in a government department. So
right,
we've decided that we didn't have any qualification that allows us to come to New Zealand. Only reason we can get to New Zealand is through studies.
right,
And so we thought of, doing a gamble, I would say. We gambled all our saving and decided that I will be going abroad to study and, hoping for a pathway to residency, which didn't happen actually, to be honest, because we were both educated, but I don't know what happened, and we have taken a wrong course.
wow,
I enrolled on a level 5 and level 6 here, and only reason was just to get my family from there to here. But I only paid for level 5, and being an international student, the school fees was so high.
mm,
And came and did level 5 here. Halfway through my course, I was doing tourism management. I came to know that particular course is not recognized as a pathway to get residence. So
right,
I was, like, we had our entire savings done for the course.
yeah,
But then again, luckily I only paid for level 5, and I said I'm never going to do level 6 because it doesn't have a career path towards residency.
mm,
Because reason being is there's a lot of Kiwis available here who can do the same job and with the qualifications. So yeah, I was studying, and I was just also doing a 20 hours of work at a car rental company doing groomer. As a groomer, I used to clean cars. And yeah, from there, I was just trying to get all my money back as possible because we have invested a lot in studies.
mm,
Um, so what we did is now 20 hours of work. And after my interaction with the customers, and I'm just being a groom, I'm just cleaning, I'm not even a customer concierge.
yeah, yeah,
Um, the management have seen me in my interaction with the customers. They've offered me a job as a customer concierge. So
right,
from groomer, I went inside the office, being a customer concierge, still doing part time. And, when the level 5 finishes, when I finishes, I have options to either go back or do level 6.
mm,
So I had a call from my HR and said, would you like to do full time with us? And I said, yes, but I'm sure that they're not going to approve it.
mm,
The immigration is not going to approve it. They said, okay, leave it on them. They've given me offer letter. I applied in the immigration. After a week, got an email, rejected. Reason being, there's a lot of Kiwis who can do the work. So my
mm,
HR manager made appointment with the immigration officer and said, we want an appointment with you. And finally, we got an appointment with the case manager. Went there with the HR manager, and she took two cartons with her. And we went there, sat there, and said, "Oh, the immigration officer said that the only reason we have He's got a qualification, he's got some experience here now, and only reasons we have declined his application because there's a lot of Kiwis who can do the same job and with
Mm.
qualification too. And my HR manager was, yep, you're right. There's a lot of Kiwis. The 2 cartons he brought, he said, all these cartons here got an application full of Kiwis.
Wow.
All those with, even some got higher education than me, but
Mm.
nobody wants to work on Saturday and Sunday. And
Wow.
he told me that this guy is willing to work on Saturday and Sunday, and plus, the nature of the business, it's 7 days a week, and Saturday, Sunday being the busiest.
Mm.
He said that, like, if you can find any Kiwi who wants to work on Saturday and Sunday, and she said that it's gonna get rid of me.
Mm.
So, and after a week, he said, okay, we're only gonna approve it for 1 year, and from there, just history.
Wow. Moses, that is, man, I'm just wowed by your story. It was
Yeah.
difficult times, challenging times in Fiji. Uh, then things stabilized a bit. Then you moved to New Zealand, but there was like a next level of challenges, uncertainty. You put a lot of your savings, you took that risk into your studies. Things kind of still didn't work out, but then you found a way. And again, humble beginnings as a groomer. Then you moved to the customer concierge part. And thanks to that HR person and the immigration officer who fought for you, and you've managed to get your first job. Now, working in a car yard and being a household name in real estate that you are today is two different things, right? So, Moses, tell us a little bit from your job in a car rental company to now being a real estate agent. How did that happen?
Yeah, when I was there, I actually we had a backup because I had a visa for a year, and I wasn't certain that it may renew or not, just because the role was a customer concierge. It wasn't a
Mm,
management role whatsoever. But the HR manager said, whatever happens, I'm not going to let you go. I'm going to either send it to other branches in South Island as assistant branch manager, and we're just going to hold you up. Um, but I told her that this is not what I want to do. I want to do something else. I always had a interest in properties,
mm,
but luckily enough, I was fortunate enough. I would say my wife got the Pacific access, and that's how we managed to get our residence. And after getting residence, I worked for them for a few years. And I told them that well, I see I was even offered a management role as well,
mm,
but I didn't want to because that wasn't my passion.
mm.
So I
Sorry,
left.
Moses. So by this time, your family had moved with you
They
while
have
you're
moved in.
working in
Yes,
the.
they have moved in now. As soon as I got my 1 year of work permit, I
Right.
just got them here. But yeah, but as I said, we are fortunate enough to have our Pacific access being picked on. And
Nice.
from there, I after my car rental, I told them that I've got a passion for something else. So I started working with my mate, a good mate of mine who's currently in Brisbane at the moment. Worked with him for 6 months, and he was just doing renovation. And I used to be his assistant, so just drive here and there, do some nitty gritty work, and
Mm,
just be his boy. So I was just learning about all that, and from there I started to interact again with the customers. And his clients were mostly Kiwis.
mm,
And yeah, I met one of the Kiwi investor, and he said, "Hey, mate, I think you're wasting your time. You should be doing real estate." And I had a few other people said that too. I said, "Okay, why not?"
mm,
And back then I thought that real estate is a work that you're gonna get paid weekly as a wages, but I didn't know that
mm,
it was just our commission basis. So then again, let's say I had a meeting with my wife and said, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I will intending to earn. It's good money if I'm going to put on my hours, but there's a risk.
mm,
We have to take another gamble, and the gamble is that um, I'm going to go from wages to commission,
mm.
and just give me about 3 months time. If I can't make it, I'm coming back to I've always got to work at my friend's
Of course.
work.
Mm,
So I'm going to coming back here. And he said, okay, let's do this. And then I went to join another mate of mine as a commercial property manager, property manager assistant. And I was just doing commercial with him just for the timing while I do my studies. Pay wasn't that great, but yeah, it was just paying my bills. And yeah, so after completing my real estate course, I was told to save for at least 6 months because, they told me not to expect any pay for the next 6 months for the newbies. But yeah, I said, yep. I was actually thinking of 3 months, but then I was told that, I need to have a backup of 6 months. So I just thought of, like if it doesn't work on 3 months, I don't think it's going to work in 6 months. it, I took a risk when I joined real estate too, and I was again fortunate enough to do my first sale in a month's time. And
Nice.
from there, just keep going up.
Brilliant, brilliant. I love it how your passion for being a customer service person, so serving customers, and your passion and your interest in properties combined. Obviously, there was a journey. You started as a helping hand to build a friend, and then you moved into commercial property management, and then to real estate as a licensed real estate agent. Now, Moses, before we go into talking more about your real estate journey, you moved here with your family. You're still studying, still having a job that wasn't an entry into your immigration. What was going in your mind as the leader of the family?
Yeah, many times, Pritesh, we were actually there. So at one point in time, our bags were just packed. Let's just, and then we said, like, stuff it. We're just going back. We were much better off in Fiji than here. We were struggling 7 days and we hardly see each other. That's how thing was here. But then again, I just keep going. And when I first came here, I met one of my wife's side of family, and I call him mommy. And she told me something that has actually, I took it to heart, and still talk about it to the families, and actually spoke about it on her funeral too. And she said that, like, better idea hello take nam, and it means that, you've come here, do not ever say you're going back. So that keeps me going. And just, like I said, okay, whatever it's gonna be, we're gonna go through the obstacle. And yeah, currently people have seen a Moses man in real estate, but they haven't seen the struggle that I have gone through.
Absolutely. The behind the scenes that makes Moses who he is today, right? And that is the whole idea of our podcast. We see people, but we don't see the stories they carry, the challenges, the pain that they all carry with them, right? So, I mean, once again, Moses, thank you so much for sharing these personal details of your life.
Yeah, also I forgot to tell you that I actually failed Form 7.
Wow.
And, I'll be honest with you, I could not afford Form 7 because back days, there was a school fees that we need to pay. All my friends were in Form 7s, and, all my soccer buddies were all in Form 7s, and it was the last year, and I passed Form 6,
Mm.
and I can't afford Form 7. So I said that, nah, I'm gonna just go and work. And one of my good friend, actually, he's residing in Melbourne.
Mm.
He paid for my fees.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's just so heart touching as well to have people who believed in you and who wanted the best for you, even in your early days. But from there, Moses, talking about friends, people who have been there for you, is there someone who has been a major inspiration for you, motivation for you in your journey?
Yeah, I would say the person that has motivated me the most is my late wife. Yeah, just, they say behind every successful man there's a woman. So yeah, that's actually true. So I was, we have taken a lot of risk. We could have just, the risk we have taken was we could have just been on the street. And once again, we were just fortunate enough. We didn't came up with the golden spoon. We didn't have any backing of our parents. We didn't have any rich parents. Humble beginning from nothing to something. Yeah, it's all about taking risks. If not gonna take risks, I don't think she's gonna be. The worst came to us is you're gonna fail. You can try again, and you can try again.
And we are very sorry to hear about the passing of your wife. Moses, Just very briefly, how has her passing affected you as a human being, as a businessman, and as a father?
Um, when she was first diagnosed 4 5 years ago, and we being educated, we can read report. We know what's the consequences of her disease can be. We even after consulting with the doctor, even before consulting with the doctor, we have done our research and we actually know that what the doctor's gonna tell us. The doctor told us that she only got about a year or two, and so from the day she was diagnosed till her passing, I tried to spend much um, time. We went on a holiday. We had a great family time. One of the best holiday we've been to. Just and then there came a point in time that she can't walk. So I just told her that don't worry about it. Everything is going to be all right. But it was just a financial struggle for me, I would say. We've got a mortgage to look after, we've got kids to look after. My main motive was, whatever happens, I'm not gonna let my house be sold. But we were in a just in a like I would say in a wedge of getting because I could not afford. But then again, yeah, just keep going, and yeah, being sick, it has just not only financially constrained me, but also mentally it's constrained me because now I wasn't thinking right. And even though like she was just always keep saying, no, you get to live your life, get to live your life, always chases me away from home. Don't be home, go and be with your friends, go and be with, just go and refresh your mind. But yeah, that was one of the things that income wise, I would say for the last year or two, my income has just gone less than half of what I was earning. So, but then again, I never left. I have been in the industry for a while now. I've seen worse markets than what it is now. This is my second low market that I've witnessed, and in my industry, I've seen some of these experienced agent has given up.
Once again, I can just thank you. I can understand how difficult that season of your life would have been, Moses. But I can see it has grown you, it has molded you in a different aspect of life and as a human being. And I'm sure she would be, your late wife would be very proud of who you have become right now and who you are continuing to become for yourself, for her, and the kids. Thank you for sharing. I know it would have been a difficult season for you, from losing, your best friend, your motivator, your inspirational cheerleader. But I'm sure through that season, you have grown into someone who's amazing, someone who she would be very proud of, as a human being, as a father, as a businessman. Now, with your real estate journey, could you tell us a little bit from your first sale to where you are right now as the team leader with your own team members and working for Barfoot and Thompson?
Yeah, the journey started in 2016. Mentioned earlier, I was fortunate enough to have my first ever sale in a month's time, and from there it was just going and going and going. And I had my best year just after COVID. The market was really high, and I've seen the high market, I've seen the down market, I've seen agents cry, I've seen agents left, and people saying that real estate is a good interest. It's good money. It is good money, but there's a lot of hours into it. To it too. I'm currently doing about 50 to 60 hours a week, 7 days a week. Used to do about 70 or 80 hours a week. But the good thing about real estate is you don't have to ask for a leave if you don't wanna work. If you're tired, just take a day off. I don't have a standard day off, but I always if anyone might ask me for a fishing or golf, I just take a day off. If I'm not, I don't have any appointment, I just take a day off. Even another downside of being a real estate agent is if I go on a holiday, my phone is always ringing. And
Mm,
many often, my kids used to say, "Hey, you're on a holiday, just leave the phone." And I can't leave my phone, because my phone is my office. And if I do, I'm losing a lot. Real estate is an industry which
mm,
can chew you up and spit you out if you don't do it right.
mm,
But in saying that, I'm not trying to discourage anyone who wants to join real estate. If you're thinking of joining a real estate, get
mm.
hold of me now, and I will guide you how to do this.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. But Moses, you said something, with real estate, you are your own boss. You can take leave whenever you want. But at the same time, on the flip side, you have to motivate yourself. You have to be in the game, right? So whilst there are benefits, there's also that quality, that characteristics of a human being that will help them succeed. You got to have that too. And I think you are someone who has got that definitely, who can motivate yourself, who knows your why you are doing that and the effort that you are putting in. But yeah, it can be, I suppose, difficult in terms of finding the right balance as well, like you mentioned, with the kids and your phone ringing all the time. But that's where the challenge comes and the excitement comes of being in this industry. Now, Moses, very quickly talking about the current market, what should someone who is, I put three scenarios: someone who's thinking of buying a house, someone who's thinking of selling a house, someone who's thinking of investing. What are your advice for these three groups of people?
Pritesh, I get asked this question on a daily basis. How's the market? I would say
Mm,
market has always been great. The best time to buy was 50 years ago, and the next best time to buy is now.
mm,
So, even if you're selling, probably, but if you're selling to buy another one, if you go upgrading or downgrading, it
mm,
should not affect you because you're selling at the same market and you'll be buying at the same market too.
mm,
If you're selling, it's a little, I would say, the market is not that down, but stable at the moment.
mm,
um, Gone are the days of after COVID. When I was talking about those market will probably never come. We had an interest rate of in 2% that time.
mm,
Now it's gone up to about 4 to 5%, and yeah, with the rising fuel cost, and it's now in New Zealand in general, people are just a little hesitant to invest on something because of all these fuel crisis and whatsoever. But in Australia, it's totally different.
mm,
They are, their market is just crazy. I was in Brisbane about 2, 3 weeks ago, and I spoke with few of the owners, and they said that it's just crazy out there. As
mm,
soon as like to get a listing, the only thing they mentioned was before it used to take about 2 or 3 weeks to sell a house. Now it takes about 4 to 5 weeks. That's the only difference. But
mm,
otherwise, the price is just going up, and everyone just, even they have the same interest rate as ours too. But it's just crazy out there.
mm,
And it's a fact that whatever happens in Australia, it also happens here after 6 months.
mm.
So we're hoping for a market to pick up. There's a lot of buyers. But if you're thinking of buying, don't wait for the market. Just buy it now. As I said earlier,
Mm,
best time to buy was 50 years ago. The next best time to buy is now.
mm. And what about rental properties investments?
Rental market is okay too. We have a lot of properties, and I think the price is going down.
Mm,
It's reasonable now to afford to go on rent. And since just because of the interest rate, it's cheaper to rent than
mm,
to buy a mortgage. But then again, in a long run, people often forget that renting, you're paying someone else's mortgage.
yep.
But if you're gonna buy and pay your own mortgage,
Mm,
you will be paying more. But at the end of the time, you're getting your money back if you intend to sell it. But
mm.
in rental, you won't get that money back.
Now, Moses, thank you for sharing some market insight. Tell us a little bit about your team, and some of their achievements and where you're based.
Well, we were based in Manukau. I used to be in Papatoe, but I've moved into Manukau. I sell mostly in South Auckland. Yeah, I've been given a name of Mr. South Auckland by one of my clients, and because I've been always selling in South Auckland.
Mm.
So he just called me, "Hey, Mr. South Auckland." From there, I just said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
take this name."
So Moses, you are called Mr. South Auckland for a reason. You know, you specialize in selling in South Auckland, but I'm sure you sell in other parts of Auckland as well. For someone thinking of selling, buying, or some advice in real estate in the South Auckland area, how can they contact you?
Yeah, if if you're thinking of selling, and mostly, half of my time I'm not even selling or doing anything related to real estate. Half of the time I'm just providing advice to people.
Mm,
And I had a good friend of mine just called me last night, and we were just discussing business. So that's why, if you need any advice in relation to real estate, even either it's not real estate, or if you're thinking of, probably doing other business ventures, anything, yeah, just thinking of, whether it's good or not, just give me a call. Just give me a call on 0211637741. Uh, I specialize myself. I shouldn't be saying this, but I hate doing it. But I specialize selling the marriage breakdown. It's I don't honestly speaking, I don't market for that, and I just don't like personal view. I don't like doing the divorce cases because there's a lot of emotions involved.
mm,
There's a lot of attachment. There's this anger, and it just that breaks my heart. And seeing that a couple that has built their asset for many ages and just takes seconds to break it. But saying that I do take the customers, but personally, I don't like doing that. But I can't say no to them. I had a you wouldn't believe that I went and signed up a sales and purchase agreement in jail with one of my colleague.
mm,
It was just a heartbreaking because one of the partner was in jail and one was just outside, and we have to do a transaction. And
mm.
just because of some small stuff that it happens, and just yeah, I hate to do that, but I must say that I specialize on that.
Okay. Yeah, it's a sad reality of life, but of course there is a process. There are reasons why, unfortunately, people get to that stage. But at least they have someone in the likes of yourself who can give them the right advice in terms of their property, and if they need to sell it, I can assure they have someone like you who will offer them the best advice and the best way forward. Moses, thank you so much. As we draw towards the close of our podcast, one advice for anyone thinking of joining real estate.
Just do it, man. Just do it. Don't wait for it. As I said, don't be scared of whatever I said about real estate. It's not an easy industry, and
Uh,
it's not a hard industry too. It just that, like, if you do the basics right, you'll do well. And if you think you are a people's person, you can, start a conversation without any reason or without
mm,
knowing them. I think you're gonna do well. You're gonna do well because this industry is it's a people's industry,
mm,
and also it's a risky industry too because it's a cutthroat business. Uh, every agent will try and just cut you off, but the better ones will always survive. But the moment you start having this commission breath in you, I don't think you're gonna do well. So you
mm,
need to remove the commission breath out of yourself and just concentrate on providing service, providing advice, providing legit advice, not just making it things up.
mm,
Always back them up with these stats. Most importantly, you have to be. This industry is all about honesty. If you're not
mm,
honest, I don't think so you're going to be well. And when I say honest, the first thing is you have to be honest with yourself too.
mm,
Have to be very disciplined in terms of prospecting. Have to be very humble for a startup. You have to always put your feet down, and never put anyone down, even your colleague.
mm,
So once the moment you start doing that, you'll see that your career just goes down. For a short term,
mm,
you'll get a money, like you'll get commission, you'll get paid out really well if you're not honest. But in a long term, there's no future for you. I've seen some of the agents who's been earning more than $1 million in commission. They got fired, and
mm,
they got fired by Barfoot. And with Barfoot, their brand matters more than the agent. or the money. So yeah, if you were thinking of doing real estate, I this course is available. If you're looking for guidance, just give me a call and I can always guide you. I've got few people already started doing this course, um, and be rest assured that your work as agent will always be guaranteed here because we are a commission basis. My team is always on a lookout for associates. If you don't want to join my team, you can still be with me and learn some of the techniques of the industry.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing those the characteristics, that an individual or a sales agent should possess. Now, as a human being, as a father, as a businessman, as a friend, a colleague, what brings you fulfillment these days?
I would say is when I go home, I see that the struggles I had. My kids are not on that struggle phase, but I always tell them, um, honesty is key to success. If you're honest, you're gonna be success in future. But yeah, my aim is, not to see the struggles I went through that my kids gonna be doing. So I want to ensure that their future is really good.
That's beautifully put. Thank you, Moses. Now, the last part of our conversation, just a little bit of light-hearted, quick fire round. It's a very, very short answers. So, Moses, tea, coffee, or kava?
Coffee in the morning, kava in the night, I would say.
Nice one. Moses, I know you live in Auckland. Blues or Crusaders?
I've always been a Crusaders fan from my childhood. Crusaders
Crusaders
today,
all the way.
Crusaders tomorrow, Crusaders in future.
Nice one. Chicken curry or lamb curry?
I would go for chicken curry.
Chicken curry, wow. And the last question, who is going to win the FIFA World Cup 2026?
I'm hoping Portugal to do wonders. Why? Because I think it would be a great farewell gift for the legend Ronaldo himself.
Hey, Moses, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing such an insightful, such an impactful and powerful journey. I'm sure it will inspire many of our listeners. We wish you the very best. And once again, friends, we will have Moses's contact on our podcast, so he'll be most happy to answer your call if you need any advice to either buy, sell, or if you're keen on joining the real estate market. So thank you once again, Moses.
Humble request to all the viewers of all the followers of Pritesh. If you're not following him, please follow him. He's one of the best MC I've come across in Auckland. And if you're looking for MC, please get a follow of him or just follow his page. He's just bringing all the people from Fiji and just asking about the stories that nobody asks about. Thanks, Pritesh.
Yeah, thank you so much, Moses. Thank you for that. To our viewers, I really hope you have enjoyed this episode. You have been inspired and impacted by the story of Moses. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel as we bring more lived experiences of our very own people. Thank you. Keep well. We'll see you again.